So hello everyone. Today we want to talk about the latest version of the Honeycomb Configurator tool. First up, this is my second video with voice and the first one in English. So I'm a native German speaker, so please excuse my English. Let's get started. The new configurator tool, just started here. Swap it over to the other desktop. So after installation, you will find a shortcut on your desktop. Just make a double click on it and it will start. When you start the program, the configuration tool, you will see something similar to this. Let's dive into it. First up, many customers ask, why do we need such a configuration tool? Why can't we just plug the throttle, the hardware into the PC, switch on the simulator, and everything works? This is because the simulator can't simulate everything, let's say it like this. The problem is that we can't sync the buttons to the simulation. Just for example, we are on the runway with a small aircraft with a retractable gear. We start, then we push the G button on the keyboard and the gear goes up, and then we recognize, oh man, we got the hardware, we can do it on the hardware. So we will also put the gear handle here up. So in the simulation, we just have one command we can map on this button. It's just the toggle function inside P3D, for example. So imagine what's happened. We already put the gear up with the G on the keyboard, and then we also put it up on the hardware device, and the gear is coming down in the simulation again, but the handle is still up. So we can't sync the hardware to the simulation. That's the main problem inside FSX, P3D. Yes, it's not a big deal in X-Plane because they already have lots of function inside that can handle that. In X-Plane, we don't need the configuration tool for the joke, but we need it for the throttle because of the LED lights and the FCU selector on the top. Let's start with the menu. You can see up here actions. Under these menus, you can create a new profile, you can activate the current profile, you can delete it, you can change the device, we can open more settings. You can do it right here. The languages, you can select the language you want to prefer. You can import profiles, you can export them. About danger zone is just to reset the complete application. You can disable the simulator defaults. That's one big point. When you plug in the device for the first time, the simulator tries to map a default button binding to the hardware device, and this can cause a double function on a button. For example, you are configuring the toggle button here to be, let's say, taxiway light on and off, and the simulators also put on this button, let's say, change views or something like this. When you toggle or you push the button, you will notice that, of course, the taxiway light will switch on and off, but also the views are switching. So to prevent these kinds of problems, you can just say disabled simulator defaults. Let's say we want to disable it now for P3D for version 5. Just click on it, and yeah, we'll give you a short pop-up message that the key bindings will be deleted, and only the access like the aileron, the throttle, and the head switch will be controlled via P3D. Say yes, and you're done. Next, download profiles is just a link to our forum where you can download the Honeycomb templates, the profiles. Right now these are only profiles for the Honeycomb joke, for the older version of the software. They also can be imported into the new program. That's not a big deal. We are just starting with the creation of the templates for the Honeycomb throttle. So, for example, we are working on the Aerosoft Airbus, of course, or the planes, aircrafts we did at Aerosoft. We are also in contact with with other developers, so they can build profiles for their airplanes. Yeah, next, profiles. Profiles is just the profiles you have installed. You can click on it, say load, or you can also you can create new profiles right here. Yeah, down here you can see the device, the currently selected device, Bravo throttle quadrant, the current selected profile, so, default throttle. Yeah, that's the menu right here. So we can start into building a new template. Let's say go to actions, create profile. Let's say it's called test. Yes, we want the Bravo throttle quadrant. Here you can select copy from. You can select a profile where you want to copy the values from. I can't say that enough. When you try to make a new profile, copy it from the default one. Yeah, you don't. After that, you only have to change the values you want to change, and you don't have to make everything new. Well, we want to make a complete new profile right now, just for demonstration. After creation, we want to select that profile, of course. Great. Now we see that we have still the Bravo throttle quadrant and the new profile test. So we select this button, we select it here, and now we have it here in this list. We have a present release event, and for this button, we just want a press event. So we go on press event, and now we want to tell the simulation, hey, come on, do something. So we click on variables, and here we can select a variable. So these variables here are the standard variables that P3D has, or P3D version 5. So P3D version 5 has a lot more variables than, for example, P3D version 4 and 3, and FSX, of course. We are currently working on it, that we make it a little bit more clearly which variables are in P3D version 4, 5, and so on. For now, these are only P3D 4.5 variables. I will put some links down in the description with the other variable lists. You can find them online under P3 when you just put it into Google, say P3D variables, and you will get something like these. These are all the simulation variables that P3D has in, for example, this is version 3. So nearly the same like version 4 and F6. And we also need the event IDs, the key events. These are events that can be triggered inside the simulation. For example, let's say AP master, yeah, toggles the AP on and off, or the autopilot, the jaw damper. I will put a link in the description below for all these lists. These are the P3D variables and key events. We also have that for P3D version 5. And we also have, similar to the P3D wall, we have something in Explain that called Datarefs. I like these. I like the website from Sim Innovations because they have a really handy search bar up here for the data refs. They are like the simulation variables in P3D, and Explain also has the commands. They are similar to the key events in P3D. Yeah, these are the standards variables and events inside P3D and Explain. But what happens to the add-on aircrafts? Lots of add-on aircrafts using so-called LVARs. These are local variables that can be used by a programmer, by a developer. And how can you, as a customer, can get these kinds of variables? Sometimes, for example, like in the Aerosoft Airbus, you will find files with lots of variables inside the installation folder. For example, in my case, it's the Aerosoft Airbus version Pro, data, and there we have the LVAS. So yeah, this is a huge list of variables that you can use inside the simulator. So let's say we want to have a look for master caution. This is the LVAR for the master caution for the Airbus light and for the Airbus button, for the button inside the Airbus from Aerosoft. So master warning and APU master, something like this. I have another good example for that is from the Captain's Sims 767. When you go to the sim apps, you will find the SDK. So you can click on it and it will download a zip file. And inside the zip file, you will find lots of JPEGs, like this, and a PDF file. So the PDF file tells you how the LVAR is built up. So, for example, this is an LVAR inside P3D. So, for example, we will try to make on this. We try to figure out which LVAR is this switch. So, parent panel name, it's the B. Parent unit name, it's a 01, so it will be B01 underline, and then the switch, the element number should be 001 underline, and then the 3 letters SW3. That's it. That's the LVAR for this switch. It's really, really nice. Lots of developers already have these kinds of SDKs or these kinds of lists of variables. Many developers are currently working on making new profiles for the Honeycomb hardware. So that's about how to get variables. So we will start with programming this small button here. So this small button should trigger the, this small button there should trigger the autopilot. So we want to switch on the heading mode with this button. So we try to find the perfect, let's say, variable or key event for that. Just type in, for example, HDJ, and you see that the lists of variables shrink together. Yeah, when we push that, we want that the autopilot holds the heading. Perfect. Looks great. So we don't need a value because I know this is a key event and most of the key events don't need values. we came to the value a little bit later. So we also can make this, for example, for the enough one. Select it here, select there, press event, variables, plus. And this is called, yes, it was enough one. There we go, enough one hold, done, perfect. Apply changes. This one is also activated right now. This small button here, activate profile on save. That just means that it will be copied into the main folder of the config tool so that the simulator can read that. Okay, we're done with that. All the other buttons are the same. Now we came to a little bit more tricky part, the SCU selector. So this one here and this one here. So on this side we can select altitude, vertical speed, heading, course, speed. And on the other side we can say decrease or increase this value we selected right here. So the simulation can't handle that. The simulation on this point is stupid. So we thought about these kinds of problems here with this button, and we came to the solution that we called internal variable. So to tell this knob here to decrease or increase the current value, we click on here, say select, let's go for the speed first. So when we put this knob to the speed, go here and say FCU selector, and then we call it. Then we put a value into it. Say yes. When you select the course, we do the same, but say SCU course. Same with the heading, SCU. Now we say heading, vertical speed, SCU, vertical, no, not the D, the S, and the altitude, come on, SCU, altitude. So now we saved a string value into the variable that's called SCU selector. Yeah. So this happens on this side. So now we want to change these kinds of values inside the simulation. So we click on this knob here, and yes, we can start with the decrease button. So decrease, and then we go to the press event, say conditions. So now we select the FCO selector. So when the other knob is on the altitude, for example, on the altitude position right here, then these knobs should do something. We toggle the variable area here to on to show them, and then we say AP, I think it was altitude, there we go, altitude var decrease. And now these key event, it's also a key event, can handle a value. So for decrease, this is a decrease button. If the FCU selector has the value altitude, we change the value via the value 100 inside the simulation. So now we also have to do that for the other, for example, for the vertical speed, for the heading, etc. So we add a new condition. SCU selector, vertical speed. Then we put in the correct key event. It's called AP vertical speed var decrease. This key event can't handle value, so we just leave it empty. So now let's do the same for the heading. HDG show, and then this is called heading bug. Heading bug decrease. That's it. Apply. So now we have set these knobs until here. So it's the same for the increase side. Okay, just go here, say condition. So we have selected the button increase. SCU selector. For example, we just do the heading. Heading. Bug increase. Done. So you see, when you start from scratch with a complete empty profile, you have to do a lot of work. So again, when you just want to change one knob, please use the function copy from, use the default default profile or the profile that you like, and yeah, copy the complete variables and conditions from the selected profile. All right, so now we have selected the buttons here, we have selected the FCU selector. So let's start with the LEDs. So for the LEDs, we have to go into the LED mode. Down. No LED selected because we never created one. Click on plus LED. We select LED. Well, let's start also with the heading condition. There's the point where you have to enter the condition. In this case, it was autopilot, I think. Autopilot heading. There we go. Autopilot heading lock, heading lock direct. Now this one is correct. So when the autopilot mode is active, so bigger than 0, done. So now, right now, these button, well, the LED behind the button will light up when the autopilot mode is active. So I didn't use the condition link right here, so we keep it on select. I will come to that now. For example, when you have, well, let's start another way. We'll now make one gear light right here. Create a new LED, create, or we select, yeah, let's start with the landing light, left green. This light should be on when the gear is, well, the left gear is down completely. So we say this is gear left position. The unit of these variable is percent over 100. So we have to say when it's bigger than 0.995. This is a good value. So when these variables reach this value, it will light up. So it will switch on. So you will see a green light right here. So now we want to also have a red light when the gear is in transition. So when the gear is in transition means that when this variable has the value under 0.995 and when this value is bigger than 0. Because when the value is 0, the gear is up and it's locked and the lights should switch off. So we start. New LED, we select the when it's left red, say gear left position value when it's in transition, so when it's bigger 100, and gear left position when it's smaller or equal 0.995. And then we select OR. So when it's between that, it will light up. Yeah. So we use the condition link OR. And now we can also use, for example, condition light, and we can do that with the engine fire light. So new light, and select the engine fire. Here we go. So ank on fire. Here we go. You see this this variable has an index value. So this means that ank on fire, which engine? You say engine 1, index number 1. When this variable is true or bigger than 0, this light should light up because the engine is on fire. So, but what happens when we are currently flying a 747? We have 4 engines. Okay, we need just more conditions. Ank on fire, index engine number 2, no, bigger 0. So, but what is the condition link? And that would not fit this case, because this would mean the light will switch on when both engines are on fire. So we also have now here OR. So that means that engine number 1, if engine number 1 is on fire or engine number 2 is on fire, the light will light up. That could be extended. So let's say ank on fire for engine number 3 and ank on fire engine number 4. Done. So now we have set up the engine fire LED for 4 engines. And I think I told something wrong, because now, here we have the OR condition link, and I think I did it wrong right here. Yeah, that's wrong. That should be an AND, because if the value is bigger than 0 and lower or equal than this value, it should be red, not OR. Now it's correct. Yeah, this was a short introduction into the new Honeycomb configuration tool. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was clearly, and my English wasn't so bad. We will try to extend this program in the future. In the near future, we will add the PMDG support for it. It's currently in beta testing, but it's not far away from release. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and see you soon.